I'm sitting in a classroom. It's 2018. I'm looking around, and the whole entire room is in black and white. See, everyone's laughing, everyone's smiling, everyone's having a good time, but yet there's no color. See, I didn't understand it at the time, but I was in the abyss. I did not have any value for this world because I had no desire to live in it. See, 5 years ago, I tried taking my life. I was admitted to a mental hospital and in jail a couple months later. But along this whole entire time period, I never realized my faults and my mistakes to this. See, when I was 18, I was severely depressed. I had no value for this world, and I constantly would affirm to myself that I hated my life and I did not want to live in this world because it didn't justify or meet the terms that I wanted to live in my life, and that ultimately led me to a deep spiral of hatred and darkness and depression. See, January 2020, when I was admitted to that mental hospital, I kept confirming it. And a few months later, I was admitted to jail. And this deep depression led me to places I never thought I would go. It led me to feel like the whole world was just as heavy as can be. It made me feel worthless because I would compare myself to my peers and where they were going. I would compare my external situations and allow them to become such big problems, bigger than they actually were. And whatever I tried to do, there was no healing it. Ultimately, the way I knew how to heal then was face something that would numb me, because I couldn't bear to live with the pain that I was having. So that numbness was to run away and hang out with friends who had no idea what I was going through at the time. See, but the ultimate numbness to me was smoking weed. That was my vice. I would smoke until my face was numb. I literally would feel myself separating from reality because when I was sober, I couldn't come to terms with how I lived. I simply would smoke that blunt and everything went away for an hour or 2 hours. But I was right back to reality. So what did I need? Another escape from reality. And that's what the weed did to me. But ultimately, that never actually healed me. It led me into a deeper place of depression because now that vice controlled me. I was weed, and the weed controlled me. I did not control it, which led me deep down that spiral. And the mental hospital taught me a lot. That was January 2020, and in April of 2020, I was locked up for a night. And all of these were due to my actions. The actions that led me into that point were all due to my fault. And I didn't understand that at the time, but I tried to do everything in my power to constantly figure out why I felt this way. And I never could. I never could. But I vividly remember the first day I exercised. That's when almost everything felt like it was figuring itself out. I went on a run one day, maybe a half mile. Right? At this point, I'm about 245 pounds. I'm all fat, and I've lost about 80 pounds since that point. But at this very moment, I'm 245 pounds. It's drizzling a little bit of rain, but I couldn't bear to want to sit inside anymore. It's COVID. I'm isolated by myself with my own thoughts, and my thoughts that I had were just anger and fear of the outcome of what's going to come. So I decided to go on a run impulsively, and I ran super hard, maybe for a half mile. But after that happened, I vividly remember just having clarity. I had this feeling that I haven't had in years. And after that run, I went home and I'm in the shower and I'm just thinking, today is bearable. Today is easier to live. And I didn't connect the dot until a few hours later, but it was because of that run. See, that run made me feel like all the problems I had in my head, it was just me in the run. The problems of the fear of the outcome of the world, the unacceptability I had about myself at that time, all of it went away because of the run. And I fell in love with it. See, I started to replace that run. I started to replace the lifting. I started replacing all forms of working out with my vice. Right? In the beginning, it was unhealthy because I depended on it and I would allow it to control me, but I had to step away and learn. But it was so addicting because that was what gave me clarity. See, the blunt, the bong, all the abusive habits for smoking weed, it would give me the same thing, but it would numb me. But the working out, it gave me the clarity to have a GPS through all my problems. It mapped out where I needed to go. And that is the key difference. When you have something that gives you clarity to map out and give you a GPS of where you want to go through your problems, it's so powerful. And that's what exercise did for me. So this is about May of 2020, and I fell in love with it. And from that point on, from May 2020 until May 2021, I was obsessed. I lost about 80 pounds. I shedded off all the body fat I had. I went from the fat kid that everyone knew to just being a lean machine to where I am today. And I'm thankful and grateful for it. But that's not what ultimately kept me going to where I am today. See, I remember how I felt 5 years ago. It was awful. And that feeling felt like hell. But I've dragged myself out of hell with the help of God. And I never want anyone else to feel that pain again. I never want anyone to feel what hell feels like. So I simply made a dedication and a promise to myself that I am going to help as many souls as possible before I leave from this earth. And that's exactly what I set out to do. From that point on, I studied. I would grind with my own body. I would learn every single possible thing I could learn to apply for other people, not just mentally, but physically as well. So I went to school. I studied the psychology of the brain. I explored my own emotional brain, and I explored my soul, and I did all of these things I needed to do to develop myself so I could pay it forward to someone else. So I did this for about 3 years, and we come to about June of 2023, I got my first personal training job, and I was so fulfilled, right? And it was probably a little bit earlier than that. I would say it was about May 23, sorry, forgive me. But I was so fulfilled, right? Because I finally felt like all the work that I've put in the last few years led me to that goal. See, in my mind, I was successful because I had a goal and I progressively walked towards it, and that made me successful. And to other people, that might not be success. But to me, it was successful because I knew where I came from point A, and I'm now at point B. And that bridge literally mapped out my whole entire life to get to point B. So I'm training people, and now I'm paying it forward. Now I am helping every single soul I can possibly help, and I'm going to do it how only I know how to do it, and that's through fitness. See, I understood how to do it in other ways, but 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, I just knew how to heal through fitness. So what was I going to do with other people? I was going to teach whoever was in front of me how to heal through fitness. I was going to teach whoever was in front of me to have the iron mindset that I installed into myself to heal all my problems. I wanted people to understand how to use their GPS. I wanted to teach people how to understand how to map out through the blocks that they had that were holding them back from being the best version of themselves. And I'm grateful because without all those things, I would never be able to fulfill that hole in my heart. And fast forward to today, I'm running my own business. See, before I worked for someone, but now I'm running my own business, doing exactly what I want, but on a higher level because I've progressively worked towards where I want to be, and that is helping people ultimately. So you have to understand, your story is still being written, right? But it's your story, right? You are the author, right? I didn't understand this at a younger age, and I would constantly just allow my story to just be on a hold, and I had no pen and paper, if you will, or I had no markers or painting or anything to do because I wasn't applying to the story that I wanted to write, and I stayed at a standstill. And that ultimately led me to devalue my whole entire life and lead me down this dark, dark, dark path. But reflecting back on it, I never realized that the story was being written by me the whole entire time. I'm in this exact scenario because of all the choices I have done. I thank God every single step of the way from giving me the power to do so, but I'm in this beautiful apartment. I'm running my own business. I'm confident to speak about the things that I've went through because of what I have built myself up to be. And that is because I have been the person making my own story. See, your guys' stories, they're not done being written. You are in control of your thoughts. You are in control of where you want to be. You are in control of the exact outcome that is going to come to place. It's just about how you do it. And it's all a learning experience. It's all a learning curve. See, there's a reason that all progress isn't just a straight line up. Because if it was, then we wouldn't understand the pain of this world. We wouldn't have two sides. There would not be light and darkness. So you simply have ups and downs for a reason, right? What comes up must go down, but it's going to keep going up and up and up to where you need to be. And that's how you need to look at life. You are your author, and you're going to get to where you want to be. It's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other. So if this hit home for you guys, I run an online coaching business where I help people install and learn the exact things that I did. I went from point A to point B. I dragged myself out of hell. I literally was obese, abusing weed, numbing myself, running from emotions, to being where I am to be, which is running a business and having a successful mindset to actually have a will to live. And I did all of that and put it into a system that I could use to empower other people. And that is exactly what I'm going to do going forward. So if you guys are interested in learning how to actually enable yourself to be the best version of yourself, click that link in your bio. And if it doesn't work out and we can't help each other, I can't help you, then I simply just want to plant a seed. And I want to see every single person that I interact with be the best version of themselves. I'm looking forward to talking soon. God bless, and everyone have a blessed day.